Haha, yes. Okay. So, I've been getting a few requests, just some, like, just a little bit, like, not much. But a few people liked the previous video and wanted more. A lot more. So, you don't know what you want, and I don't know what you want. So therefore, I'm just going to do what I feel like doing. I just made a new file, didn't I? I want to make a new folder. So today, I'm going to teach you how to modularificate your code, right? So instead of having like one 5 million line piece of code code file, English, you can then have 500 one-line files of code. So much better. So now we have this command right here, right? The kill command. So what we can do here is create a new file, I guess. Yeah, and call it kill.jpg. No, just kidding, JS. Okay, so mechan is like a pile of trash and no one should use it unless you want to use it. But so it's not really that good at making modular stuff, but I can do it just fine. So what you can do, I haven't set up the part where it's supposed to be modular, but you can hacksaw it, if you know what I mean. This episode is going to be like 2 minutes long, and it's just going to be me typing these 2 lines of code and fulfilling your stuff. Okay, so you're going to want to create a module .export .init, or just command equals you want to make that into a function, right, my dudes? It's gonna want to get past one of them very hot command handlers, right? I don't know. I would in fact just type handler. It's gonna be past a command handler. Then what you do, you take one of these real hot this thing. You just do that. You can probably rename that to an int. There you go. So I'm just gonna copy, paste, rename to murder, because I'm too lazy to type stuff, and yeah. But make sure they're not the exact same name command, because mechan won't like that. So, murder commands, yes, that is fine, my dude. And if you want to do like things where you do stuff, like you might be able, like if you want, what are they? I'm dumb. Command groups. Oh yeah, I should probably also tell you that in this episode. So if you want command groups, you can also do that. Here, I'll do this one as a command group. So this one, I will create the command group. Yeah, that's actually a better idea. Rename group. No, let's not do that. Let's just say K. So, a cool thing you can do is use TypeScript if you're cool. But if you're not cool, you cannot use TypeScript like a boss. But TypeScript, what it does is instead of having this all do any, it actually tells you the functions, right? So that's cool. But so I think you can also do the same thing with JS doc, kind of like this. But yeah. So I'm just gonna write the thing here and then copy and paste it over here once I'm done, just so I get that autocorrect. Dot create group. So this is a new thing. It's like create command, but better. So you can create command groups. And so it's not like category like you have here, the category. This is not a group. A group is so you can have something that looks like this. So you have yourself, your prefix, which for me is D nightmares dot. That's what it is, not D. So it's nightmares dot. And then you have the group name or command name. So the group for us, I think, was going to be K, and then a space, and then your command name. So that could be useful like play, and then you can do Q, like that. And so Q is the command, play is the group, or radio, next, up, something like that. So you can just do stuff like that without having to parse next up as a parameter and then parsing that. Mechan already does stuff like that for you. So what you can do is you can create a group. This one is going to be called K. The callback. Okay, so the way that these work is you can either do it like you make a command like this and just do the dot 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 dot, just keep chaining it. It's called a builder. Like I can do dot this, dot that, all that, or you have the other option to use a callback. It's not because it's asynchronous or anything and you need the callback to do anything. It's just because if you use the chaining mode, you can only add one command to it unless you set it as a variable. This just also makes it indented and makes it look a little nicer. And it auto-fills your types and all that, and it makes it cool and stuff, you know. But so now you can do group. And so a group is pretty much, so here, let's say this. The handler is a group that you're adding commands to. It's a group with no name. So a group has pretty much the same functions that the handler does, minus a few. Like it doesn't have install, it doesn't have on, it doesn't have any of those, but it has all like things. Like you can create another subgroup. You can pretty much do this recursively forever and pretty much kill your computer if you feel like it. I don't know actually how long it would take you to kill it, but you could do it if you're committed. But also, these, they should be read-only, but you can edit them, but it's better just to not, because all the variables are set using the functions, and the functions set them correctly, so I would not tamper with the variables. I'd only use functions. So you can hide a group, you can hide a whole group if you want. Just like you can hide a command, you can hide a whole group, so you can have like hidden commands, or like admin commands, so then no one else needs to see them. You can set the category of a group, so then all of the commands in the group will inherit that category, but then you can overwrite it. So you can also add pre-checks, which all the commands will then inherit, which you can override. You can't really override unless you reset the checks, but you can add more too. So here, I'm just going to create a command because I'm not going to do any nested groups because I'm not that cool. So this one, let's just do, actually no, let's make a better name than K. Okay, help me. So if you try and create a command with a group with the name help, and you don't have the help mode is disabled, it's gonna yell at you because it already has one. It's like, but you shouldn't have your own. And so you want to set this as disabled if you want to make your own. But so help me is like and then you can have I'm help me I fell. And also you can't have spaces in the name, so I'm going like that. Or you could create nested groups, like a group called I and then a group called fell if you want to do it like that. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. I like doing indentions because that's just how cool I am. So let me see. So these are the normal things you want. A parameter, you don't need it though. A description, a category, and a callback. The callback is necessary. So I'm going to add a description. Okay. typing with raw sauce, raw typing skill. Set. Actually, here, let me just show you this. I can do group.set. Oh, but also there's a thing. So if you set the category of a group, and then you create a command and you change the category of group, it won't affect the commands already created. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check, and I might have a little overlay telling you the right answer if I'm not lazy, but I'm pretty sure it will only affect the commands after that you create. So you want to make sure you change the group settings at the top of the file, because if you change it at the bottom, it won't apply it to the commands. Tell me in the comments if anyone's actually watching this video, if any of that made sense, or if any of this video so far has made sense. Set the category of help page. Okay, so I've fallen, I can't get up. I'll keep the category dot set. So anything that's set are pretty much ones that you need. You don't need a category, you don't need a description, but they're the main ones that you want. And then the add, those are ones that you don't need. But it's very general, but actually those are also ones that you can have multiple of. So I'm just gonna stop now. So set callback. So also I recommend using VS Code if I haven't told you already. Adam, I think might have like this command completion stuff in a plugin, but I got Adam, so I didn't have that built in, and I'm like, no, VS Code, I'm just gonna stick with it because I don't like change. Yay. So you could be doing all this in your code thing here, but I like auto completion, and it doesn't work in here because it doesn't know what type of the handler is. If you use TypeScript, you could define that it is a mechan.handler, but here you can only use TypeScript to do that. So I'm not gonna do that. So I just write them in here, copy and paste them in there because it doesn't really matter then, because I'm done looking at them. So I fell. So we want to get context dot user dot username. So we're gonna then send a message back. We're gonna reply to the message saying, let's actually just do this. Oh noes, I hope you get better. Yeah, cause and then I will also do context.message.react. And what this will do is react with the B emoji. I think that'll work. Don't quote me on that. It's probably not gonna work. I haven't done anything with reactions, but I think that might work. But it might need to be the ID. I'm actually just gonna do the safe route and do mechan.discord. Oh, also, just so you know, you don't need to have your own Discord thing. You can do mechan.discord dot emoji. Can I create a new one of these? Okay, right now is when you might see a jump cut. Or actually here I might do this. Context.guild. Oh, I don't have that. I could do channel.guild. What? Why are you doing? Why you say any? I I can do message.guild. Okay, there we go. That's better. Don't know what was happening earlier. I might need to rewrite the whole thing over again, so let's do emoji. Create emojis. Okay, so emojis dot find. I think identifier? I'm gonna go with identifier. Just kidding, I'm going with name. I'm going with identifier. Okay, so don't quote me on this, but this should work. I'm gonna now move this over here into the K thing. Okay, so now is when the fun starts. Now you actually have to do some coding. So, what we've done is we just moved our functions into these different files. So, you could do it the easy way, but the dumb way is to require each of the commands and then run the functions in them. But if you add another one, you need to add another line of code. So I'm going to attempt to do this the better way, and that requires you having the fs module. So I'm going to add another constant. Does not matter where you add this. You can add it right where I'm about to do the code at the bottom, or you can add it at the top. I like having them all at the top because most programming languages like you doing that, so I just do that. Like C# and C++ and all the other programming languages that are programming languages, you know? So fs equals require, and then fs. So fs is the file system module that you can access the files. So if you can file system dot, oh, look at all that. So what I think I can do is let files equal fs.read dir sync. It's a directory. I think this will give me the file names in string. I should have done my research before making this video, but hey, who cares? Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna want to do. So this one will be hard coded in. You could add it to the config.json or whatever, so that you can change it if you want, but it's pretty much hard coded. And then, oh, a good thing to do is use console.log. Before, I don't think I did any debugging. Oh, also tip control tilde brings up the terminal. Okay, but so, oh, hey, look at the meme. B emoji memes. But so running code a lot is good. I did a lot of typing right here without running, but you should run it at increments. That's just because I'm pretty sure this is gonna work. It's pretty simple code, but but you want to make sure you run your code incrementally instead of having 300 lines to look through. You only have like 4 or 5 lines at a time to look through and see what broke or what didn't. I don't think I showed you guys how to use. Yeah, okay, so see, there's a cool tool I'll show you how to use in a second after this too. But so, see, it worked correctly. And it hangs because that's how it works. So, it gets the file names of this directory. So using that, we can then do a for loop. So in for loops, you normally do files in, but the way that JavaScript does stuff is if you use of. So in gives you the key, but for this, the way that it's stored, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It would give you a number. Of gives you the items, but you can only use this for iteratable things. You can't use it for just normal objects. So it's restricted more, but it's a little simpler because then you don't have to re-go through the array. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, hit that dislike button. Can we hit 3 million dislikes? Please don't try. Okay, files. Okay, this is another thing. So you do let file of files. I was doing it wrong. And so this is a iterative for loop. Yeah, sure. But so it'll iterate through all the items in this string list instead of using like the incremental ones where you have like the 3 statements, the definition, the conditional, and the what happens every time. This just automatically loops through it. It's a simplified version of it. It's even more simple than the simple version. So now I should be able to go require. So there's the require and fs.read file sync is require. We'll parse it into a JavaScript object, and that's what we want. So we want to do /commands/ and this is where we do this. So instead of using normal like apostrophe or whatever that is, you use a backtick. It's right above the tilde. It's actually, no, it's the tilde key. No, under escape for my keyboard. Don't know what it is for you because you probably don't live in the US. But that's what it is for me. So, but that lets you do this, which lets you, I think I might have already done this. Yeah, okay, I already did this. I already went over this, yeah. But it lets you put stuff in your strings without using pluses, which looks ugly. And so then you should be able to do dot, what do we call it? Init. So this is a cool way of just looping through all the files in here and initializing them, which is just add stuff. You could add other stuff, like it would check other things, like you'd pretty much do anything. But this is how you'd add it. And using just these 3 lines of code, it's 3 lines of code in this file, and all the rest of your lines are in other files. Hopefully if this works. So here, now I'm going to show you another thing. There's this cool thing called inspect. So I just typed a thing. So this is a new parameter to node. Inspect lets you use Chrome Dev Tools. Speaking of which, I'm already using to debug an application. So I'm going to actually stop that right now, because you can't run 2 at once. Okay, so Chrome Dev Tools. I'm going to close out that so I can actually show you how to open it and hopefully not show you any incriminating things. So it's just a very... have you ever opened up a Chrome page? This one. Here, this is just some dude's code. So if you right click and click inspect, probably everyone's done this, and then you can go here and say the following. You can change his name to the following butt. That's not the arrow key. Yes, that is. Why is this not working? There we go. So funny. The falling butt. I'm a little 2-year-old, but it's pretty much this thing right here. I keep gesturing with my hands, but you can't see my hands. This whole thing over here, but for Node. So I can close that to you. Actually, I want that back. Okay, so what you do is you go to this page right here. Chrome //inspect/. You don't need this devices thing, it should automatically redirect you there, see, like it did. But so then it'll show you all your running node things that are running inspect. So what this does is it sets it running on port 6969. You shouldn't need this equals 6969 for you. But I do, because I always debug stuff on port 6969 because 1, I'm an immature child and I just open Malwarebytes, and 2, because if you go here, I deleted all the other default ports and only have 6969 available. So and you can do that too. So where was I going with this? Yes. So this will enable inspect mode and also brkey just means it'll wait for you to connect to it with the inspector before it does it. So what you could do is you could run this, right? And so see it waits, it's now hanging. But so you see you could click inspect here, but then every time you have to stop and start it, you need to re-click that inspect thing. What you can do is just open dedicated dev tools for Node, which this one, it opened in a different window, different screen. It will be one that will connect to anything that's running. It will have all the threads. So this is one big one. You can then close out this page, you don't need it. But see, it looks pretty much just like it. You can have a console, you have profiler, connection. This is just settings, memory, tracking, you can track memory, sources, you can do breakpoints, you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. Visual Studio Code has something like it built in too, but I just like using the Node tools because, yeah, the developer tools. I think it's only in Chrome. Firefox might have one, but I don't use Firefox except for like testing web pages, so I don't know if it'll work. But so it starts broken, as you can see. Pause, not broken, but pause, because it waited for you to start it yourself. So I do that just so I can start it myself, and it won't already run before I connect to it, and I won't miss anything. So now if I run it, ooh, look, you can see all these new files because it just added everything. Yeah, it just started. So, yeah, it's not supposed to log anything because there's nothing to log. I removed that thing. But so if this is done correctly, oh, here you can even here you can type mechan. Just kidding. Handle that language work. Oops. Nope. Okay, yeah. But it's just like the normal one. You can type in things and evaluate them. But the thing is, the code already ran all the way to the bottom, from top to bottom, and then it just unloaded all this because it doesn't need it anymore. The only thing that it's loading is the client. It doesn't load any of these variables anymore because they're no longer used in the code. So yeah. But if errors come up, see they have this red thing, you can drop them down, you can see more information. And this doesn't really tell you much because it's not an error really. But so now we can go over to the test server, which is the best server. So the test server is this one. Please no incriminating stuff. Okay, so here I'm going to go to my little hider hole. Okay, so it's, haha, just kidding. Wait, that's not the server you're supposed to see. This is your beautiful bot that you just made. So here we're going to go to botting, I think. Sure. Oh, yeah, haha, memes. So let's just do nightmares.help. Let's see our new commands. Oh, look at this, help, and look, help me I fell. Look, see, there's a nice space, and it's helpage. Look at this beautiful description, and you still have your old command. And look, see, it loaded them through the other files. And if you use TypeScript, or if I figure out how to do this, I might add a thing that tells you how to do this. But this just says any because it doesn't know what type it is, so it doesn't have those auto completions. If you use TypeScript, you can then specify what type it is. But so now you can modularify this and put them in other files, and it makes your code generally better. So now you've learned about Chrome DevTools. Sometimes it doesn't always work for people. You might need to do a little finicking to get it to work. Actually, here, wait, let's run the hecking new command. Oh, and also see if you just do .help me, that's not a command, it's a group. You can have a command in a group with the same name, and it will run the command. So like it would be like the base group. Yeah, so you can have a command in a group with the same name, and it would run the command. It would handle it all fine. So yeah, if you wanted to, but I don't. So here, oh look, oh no, I hope you get better. And yeah, okay, so here, this is what I felt, oh, here, I can show you this here. Right here, look at this. It gives you some real nice stuff. It tells you right where it is, and you can click on it. But so it must be a string, or I thought I did that, though. Wait, here. Where did it come from? Oh yeah, this isn't going to really help you, is it? Haha. Pretend I never did this anymore. But, it's just because this, it doesn't like it. So we'll just remove that and it will go on our merry way, pretending that never happened. But also this highlights a very key feature of the mech ban, is it still is running. I can run it again. And since it's all callbacks and stuff, it's not gonna break the whole thing. It's gonna tell you when things break, but it won't shut down the whole thing altogether. It will just break that single command and isolate the break to be smaller rather than bigger breaks. Okay, so yeah, so we learned about this thing, we learned about groups, we learned about modularity, and we learned that I'll do something once I feel like it. You shouldn't it's not, please don't do this to me. Please don't. Okay, thanks, bye.